morning, it's Carrie-Anne and I thought I'd come on today just to have a quick chat before I start work. It is currently 9 o'clock on Tuesday the 16th of August and as you can see we have finally had some rain. We finally had some rain here in the southwest, which I'm so grateful for. The ground has been so dry, so parched. We really needed the rain, and thankfully it's actually come rather than all at once really heavy, which would have been terrible because the ground just wouldn't have been able to cope with it. We've actually had the rain in sort of slow rainfall continuously, so we had it on and off yesterday, which was Monday, and now we seem to have had it on and off through the night, quite light. And the reason I can tell that is because we actually are prone to flooding here in the studio. So if we have a sudden rainfall, so if we have lots of heavy rainfall all at once, then we do automatically just get flooded in the studio here. What I mean by studio is just like a little conservatory space, and it happens every single time there's too much rain for the drains to cope with. So I know that it didn't all come down at once. It has just been a light continuous rain, which has been fantastic for the garden. I haven't yet checked the water butts, so you can see I've got one here and there's also one on the other side of the property. So this one collects water from the conservatory, and then I have another water butt that collects water from the house as well, so the guttering on the house. They're both what they call slimline ones because I can't have great big massive ones, but anything is better than nothing when it comes to collecting rainwater. So yeah, I'm really glad to see some rain because it has been so dry and we haven't had any for, it's got to be going near to 3 to 4 weeks now, and the garden desperately needed it, and so did the allotment. We went on our honeymoon yesterday, which was actually just a spa day, but for us that's what we're calling our honeymoon. So I didn't go to the allotment yesterday. We spent a lovely day, all day at a local spa. We haven't done that since I think 2015, 2016, we haven't been on a spa day, and it was really lovely to be just taken away from everything and not be allowed to worry about the shop or the kids or the gardens or any of those sorts of things, and it gave me time to think a lot about what it is that I want to do. We as a family, we chatted about things, you know, for the future. So yeah, it really did help clear the mind. Obviously they did my nails, which was really nice. So we had a couple of treatments, and then we just spent the rest of the day in the pool and the sauna and the steam room, that sort of thing. So that was really lovely. I do feel guilty now that I didn't do any gardening or any allotment work yesterday, so that happens every time I don't go to the garden or allotment. I also didn't do any cooking, preserving, nothing, which is really strange for me because it's something that I tend to do every day after work. But yeah, we had a day away, which was really lovely. So back to it today. As I say, it's about 9 o'clock at the moment. My husband's still in bed, he's having a rest because he's actually on holiday this week. I say holiday for him means that he's away from his main job and will end up probably helping me in the shop and the garden and the allotment and doing all the things that I want him to help me do around the house. So it doesn't end up being much of a holiday for my poor husband, but he's not at work, so we'll just call it not at work. Plans for today and plans for this week. So with it being Tuesday, it's my first day back into the shop because I take off at the moment a Sunday and a Monday. I used to work 6 days a week, but it just made me so ill. I can't do that all year round, so I chop and change, and sometimes I'll open on a Monday when I feel like it, but I sort of keep the opening hours now to Tuesday to Saturday. So the first thing first is to go through everything at work and get the working day done and out of the way, and then we do need to go and visit the allotment, see what's going on there. I've already been around the garden this morning, and the rain has brought out all of the slugs and snails. So I've already, and I'll show you some videos because they were beasts, and they've completely eaten the leaves off of my beetroot, which is a nightmare. I'm hoping they'll survive though. I'll show you a clip of the slugs if I can. But I don't like to kill, I like to relocate when it comes to those sorts of things. If they then end up getting eaten by the birds, that's nature. But I try not to kill the insects and all the bugs and all the creepies and things like that. And as much as I despise slugs and snails, they're part of you know, they're part of the system, they're part of nature, and I just don't like the idea of killing them outright, so I relocate them to the compost heap or into a little pot just away from all the plants until I then go to the compost heap, which is where sometimes the birds come and help themselves to some dinner. But today they went to the compost heap, so they're out the way, not in the garden anymore, but they were beasts. So that's why they have been eating a lot of what's over, let's see if I can find it, over here. So this is a big container planter, and it's got all my beetroot, onions, and next to it sunflowers, and I had noticed they'd been eaten quite a lot, and I found the two culprits that were doing that. So yeah, so lots to do in the garden and the allotment today. And then this evening I'm going to attempt to create a storage space for the preserves. Now this is something that I've wanted to do in the house for a while, and I keep all of the food that we're currently eating in the kitchen. We have plenty of space in the kitchen in terms of the cupboard and things like that, and all the foods like the dried foods and the pickles and things that we're going to be eating soonest will stay in the kitchen. But I wanted to find a space in the home to create what people are calling a pantry or a winter storage or something like that. We have a utility room, but in that utility room I wouldn't say it's not a good idea to have food and food stores in that room, because it has the washing machine and the tumble dryer, which we avoid using at all costs with the rates of electricity at the moment, but it has the washing machine in there, and that jumps around like crazy, and if there was anything glass on the shelves or anything around, it would fall down like everything else does in the utility room. I don't know why it does that, but it does. So that's where I store things like you know, loo rolls, all of the toiletries, and all of the like the prepper supplies. But what I mean by that is the things like the washing up liquids, the powders and toothpaste, and all of those that we have. I tried to keep an extra 2 extra weeks ahead, so that we're never in the situation we're completely run out. So all of those sorts of things, the non-edible supplies, will go in the utility room. And just DIY equipment, all of our tools and everything is in the utility room. So that's not suitable for food, for winter storage. So I've been thinking about where could I do that in the house that we are in at the moment. And I found a space under the stairs, which I think would be ideal because it's not currently being used for anything really important. And there's already a bookcase there. And the books in that bookcase are ones that I was looking at parting with, which is quite hard for me as someone who loves books, but those ones are duplicates of things that I've got the same sort of topics, non-fiction topics of already, so I whittled those ones down to eventually part with. So yeah, I'm going to be creating like a pantry, a winter store place there, so I'll try and video that when we turn it from what is currently a bookcase and just a few display bits into a winter storage space. So hopefully I'll get started on that this evening, and I also will be showing you some pictures of our kitchen. A couple of people said to me, I love your videos, but why, and your cooking and things like that, but why do you not show your kitchen very much? And that is because I hate my kitchen. My kitchen is a nightmare. So the size is great and the main sort of storage areas are great, but in the 8 years we've had this house, we've never had tiles. We then had a quote for tiles and tiling, and it was extremely expensive, twice as much as we thought it was going to be, so we can't afford it. So my husband had the great idea of buying some tiles and tiling it ourselves. We've never tiled before in our lives, but we thought, you know, let's give it a go. Wall number 1 had no sockets on it or anything, and looks really good actually for someone who's never tiled before. He did a great job. So wall number 1 was quite easy and looks really great. The other 3 walls that we need to do all have sockets on, and so are only half done, up to the point of where we now have to cut with the tile cutter around the sockets, which is a bigger job, and it's been so hot that we haven't been doing those sorts of DIY jobs, and so for the past 3 weeks now it's been a half tiled kitchen, looking a mess, and so I feel quite ashamed of it and have not been sharing many videos of the kitchen in sort of like the full of the kitchen. Obviously I've been filming the bread making and various other things, food preserving and stuff in there, but I've kind of tried to zoom right in so you can't see the rest of the kitchen. But I will try to be a bit more brave and show the realities, and I will give you a little tour of the messy kitchen, because at the end of the day it is the reality. You know, a lot of what people will share on social media and YouTube will be the perfect sides of life. I'm going to try and be a bit more honest and show you the realities of life and the realities of trying to run an urban homestead as opposed to a rural homestead, and show you the sort of the realities of what the house looks like, the garden looks like, and the allotment looks like. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of the sorts of things that I'll be getting up to today and the rest of this week. And anything interesting I will be sure to video and try and pull together some videos for you here on the channel. If you've got any questions at all, as always, please do let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer them. And if you're enjoying the channel and the videos that we've been putting out recently, then please do subscribe and give them a thumbs up to help them reach other people. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.